Most of the time I feel perfectly at home here, but sometimes I get this overwhelming feeling of melancholy. The Dutch have a nice word for it. They call it heimwee. Us Brits just call it missing stuff from home. Well, I'm so happy to have found this shop because it's got everything that an Englishman away from home could want. One day you're on a double-decker bus. The next you're riding a bike in Holland. Life is so wonderfully unpredictable sometimes. I'm David Grant, 43, and I work at an advertising agency here in Utrecht as a graphic designer. Graphic design alone is no reason to move to Holland, so there must be a more convincing motive, such as... love. Nothing else, nothing less. I came here for love. Love. How romantic. But romance alone won't get you far, so I decided to register in Holland. The first step was a trip to the local municipal office. Hello.
Goedemiddag.
I would like to register here in Holland.
Okay, welcome. May I have your ID, please?
And if you already have a place to live, it's also advisable to bring your lease or purchase agreement.
Are you married?
The government office offers a wide range of services, registering your newborn baby, weddings, and tips on how to find a new house.
Thank you for your help. Thanks a lot.
Some of these services are free, and some come with a price tag. If I was going to get married, how do I do that?
Just come by and we will help you with the paperwork and things like that.
I always regarded myself as a fairly independent person, not the marrying kind, so to speak. But all that changed quite dramatically when I saw her on that sun-blazed beach in Greece. The moment I looked into her eyes, I saw myself reflected, kneeling down, holding a ring. And I knew instantly that if I wanted to be able to afford that ring, I better get a job, soon. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So that's why I immediately made an appointment with a recruitment company. It's always nice to know that there's plenty of help available, so you won't get lost in the bureaucratic maze.
So, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to register you in our system. And then we're going also to look for, maybe we've got some jobs here in the neighborhood, so I can give the information to you.
Great. Finding a job can be hard, but the internet and the trusty old newspaper offer an up-to-date selection of jobs. This must be my lucky day. She already found me a job.
Yeah. I will give this to you, and then actually you can contact the company and you can directly make job application with them.
Well, that's simple.
Yeah, actually it is.
Cool. If you feel that you could do with some extra help or information, then it can be wise to make an appointment with a personal EURES advisor. There you'll get useful tips for a successful job application, or details about laws and the rules concerning a temporary job.
Well, there are several possibilities. The very best way is to find it by your own network. Most of the vacancies are filled that way. You can register at the UWV werkbedrijf. You can go to temporary agencies. Many vacancies in the Netherlands are filled that way. I have a list of agencies specialized in work for non-Dutch speakers. As long as you don't speak Dutch, it might be a problem to find work on your own level. And of course you can look at the EURES website, where vacancies are placed by employers who really are looking for people from outside of the Netherlands.
If you have diplomas, certificates or titles that need to be translated, evaluated or approved, certified translators are at your disposal. Don't forget to bring all the necessary e-forms and also apply for a Digi-D code. The code will give you access to the digital government network services. And now an important question. My health insurance, will my employer cover that, or?
No, the employer doesn't cover your health insurance. You'll have to take a private insurance. Sometimes the employer pays part of it, but that's part of the agreement. There is a basic insurance you need to have, that's obligatory, and there is a possibility to cover extra costs by an extra insurance. And I can give you the website of the CVZ to find all information about that in English.
Excellent.
I do have some information for you in English about working and living in the Netherlands. So I can give you this leaflet.
My guess is that even native speakers will have a hard time understanding all this information. But thank God, there is a leaflet. Finding a job or having one really makes the world a brighter place. And a lot less complicated. The Dutch always find a good reason to buy flowers for their loved ones. I know it seems foolish. Yeah, call me crazy, but I did fall head over heels in love with the girl. These are for Anna Marie, my girlfriend. She's so different from all the British girls I dated. She's so, well, how should I put it? So different. She's not the only one that's completely different. I figured that out fairly fast. The long-distance relationship just wasn't working out. So I packed my bags and moved to Holland. Holland. A country full of Dutch people. The open-minded Dutch. The laid-back Dutch. The warm, the cozy and the nosy Dutch. The Dutch with their big mouth for such a small country Dutch. Strange and different from all the rest of us. Dutch. Back there's England. 1 hour on a plane. Or 6 hours on a boat. Or a whole day if you wanted to swim it. This is The Hague, political heart of the country, the place where votes are won and lost again. Here democracy is always a work in progress. This is the home of the Dutch government, and everything in Holland is so perfectly regulated. And who has to pay for all of this? Me. And you. Making more money means paying more taxes. But before making any money at all, you'll have to apply for a civil service number at your local government office. To be honest, sometimes I feel a bit like a number myself. Lost in a world filled with creatures from a different planet with different traditions, habits, rules and regulations. There's lots of good stuff though. Public transport for one is very well organised. But hey, how hard can it be in such a tiny country? You can buy a train ticket on every corner. So how do we get a ticket out of this damn thing? Oh, and food. How shall I put it? Well, they have a couple of very unique culinary traditions, that's for sure. But come on, someone could have warned me about the dangers of these bitterballs. And once you've moved here, you'll have to get used to all the strange habits of the Dutch. Oh man, some things you're never going to get used to. The Dutch language? Well, to me, and probably the rest of the foreigners, Dutch sometimes sounds like it's being spoken with an industrial grinder. Een gezellige dag op het strand in Scheveningen. Now, the great thing about Holland is everybody speaks English. You can just go up to anybody, ask directions, and they will reply in English. It's fantastic. Excuse me, can you tell me where Central Station is?
Ich habe keine blasse Ahnung, was Sie sagen. Nee, nein, mas já nem se mata não, com o dorp.
Menam lamar.
Gata-te.
Desculpa, não percebo aquela ilha pequenina.
Although most people, and employers, tend to be very internationally orientated, it is certainly advisable to master the Dutch language as soon as possible. I gotta... that way?
Yeah, and you'll hear the ding ding ding.
Ding ding! Ding ding or no ding ding. Dutch or no Dutch. I always say home is where the heart is, and that it's got nothing to do with words. It's a feeling. Sadly, home is also where the paperwork is. Mind-boggling at times, but luckily, again, there's always somebody to help you out.
Goedemorgen, ministerie van Sociale Zaken en Werkgelegenheid.
Hello. Yes, my name is David Grant, and I was wondering if you could answer a few questions for me.
Yes, of course.
Well, my temporary contract is almost finished, and I was wondering how can I change a contract to a permanent contract?
Well, normally you get a permanent contract after 3 temporary contracts within a period of 36 months.
what happens if my contract actually runs out?
The Postbus 51 helpline is the place to turn to if you have questions concerning governmental issues. They have all the information at hand about topics such as parental leave, minimum wage, employee contracts, and labour safety rules.
Now, imagine if my wife was pregnant and I needed to take time off to see the baby. Is there any support for that here? Does the government pay something, or does my employer help, or how does it actually work here?
Actually, you're entitled to parental leave after 1 year.
Parental leave? I've just found a job. I'm not even a father yet.
All right, well, thank you.
The Dutch, well, they're friendly, I guess, but they can be quite direct and critical, which we tend to think of as rude, and they will offer you freely advice without you asking for it, and give criticism, which we tend to think of as sticking your nose in where you're not wanted. And like I said, they're not the friendliest people you've ever seen, so if you are expecting service with a smile, when you will get, we're working on it.
They're just like their climate. Sometimes it rains, but remember, every cloud has its silver lining. The cost of living in Holland is, compared to other European countries, reasonably high. Renting a house can take a sizable chunk out of your monthly income, but an advantage is that renters are very well protected by Dutch housing laws. Houses can be found via the locally based housing society, or in the often more expensive case, private sector. I found a place to live, and now I ride my Dutch bike with a smile because I know she's waiting for me at home. Every time I pass the school, I think about when I'll be taking my own son to school. From 5 until 18, he'll be in good educational hands because the Dutch schooling system is of a very high standard. Then, finally, home sweet home. A place for the two of us. Or better yet,
And you.
the three of us.
Oh, hang on.
Looking back on the last couple of months, I can't say it was all easy going. Some of the stuff I faced seemed complicated and was hard to understand. Some of it took patience and perseverance. But I never felt alone. If I needed any assistance, there's always plenty of helpful people out there. Okay, I've had my moments of doubt, but I've no regrets, and I enjoy every minute of my new life with Anna-Marie. If I had the chance to go back in time, I'd do it all again. Right now.